I'm like already kind of getting a little bit emotional as I'm thinking through the process of making this video, so bear with me. So I will have pinned in the comments down below a timestamp list showing all of the different things we'll be talking about today in case you wanted to skip certain parts or maybe rewatch certain parts later on. It's for your benefit. You're welcome to watch it through all the way. That's what I would like you to do at least. But if you needed to skip because time constraints, I understand. This is going to be easily the longest video that I've uploaded on this channel. A lot's gone into the creation of this over the past week. So I hope you guys enjoy it. You should sit back, relax, probably grab some food, maybe some drinks, pause if you need to, go grab everything you need, get comfortable, and let's not forget to keep it casual. Anyway, so intro. My name is Chris. I don't publicly share my last name for privacy reasons, but it's a pretty common last name, so it's not really that big of a deal. I am 22 years old as of the recording of this video. I live in the United States. My current professional career path is management. I'm currently an assistant general manager at a food service establishment. I am currently working on a bachelor's degree in business management, and I have an associate's degree in enterprise development, which is just a lot of fancy ways to say that I'm really boring. My hobbies basically include reading, photography, and doing YouTube, and I enjoy all three of those relatively equally, although I probably spend the most time doing YouTube and then photography and then reading, but I'm trying to work on getting reading more up there for my free time because I personally enjoy growing and developing as a person. And probably my greatest passion is developing others. One of the main reasons that I wanted to be a manager was because I could have a direct impact on growing and developing those around me. This YouTube channel, by extension, is that ideal magnified by many multitudes, because there's a very small chance I'll ever get to directly manage 1,000 people. But the chance that I can touch 1,000 people's lives through these videos it's likely. Although not every single person that subscribes to me watches my content, over time, I know that I will have touched that many people if I continue to do this. So this channel really, by extension, touches my passion quite a bit. We should get into thank yous. So YouTube has always been a fantasy dream for me. Ever since either 11 or 12, I've been watching YouTube constantly. I started watching YouTube Minecrafters like X's Adventures Through Minecraft, Ant Venom, Captain Sparkle, and it slowly grew into watching IRL content and seeing people grow and develop others. And I've always admired YouTubers. So YouTubers to me are like the celebrities of olden days, and people look up to like Marilyn Monroe and Brad Pitt and all of like the big name celebrities. That's what YouTube is to me. And maybe they're not equivalent in every single way, but the intimacy that I feel when I get to watch my favorite YouTuber is so much greater than watching a movie by the next biggest movie star. So this has always been something that I've always wanted to do. I never thought that I would make it to 1,000 subscribers. I was blown away whenever I hit 100 a few years ago, whenever one of my videos blew up. And I mean, numbers are just numbers. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of everything, but it's a milestone that it means so much to me because it shows that people can care enough about what I have to say and what I do to follow me and to take a chance of spending their time watching what I have to say and hearing what I have to say. And that means the world to me. And I know this is like the cliche, every YouTuber does this on their milestones, but this channel has already changed my life in so many ways. And I'm so thankful that I get to return the favor by hopefully getting to change some of yours. So thank you. I'm honored to have impacted so many people's lives that they've wanted to continue watching my content. I, for the longest time, was in a really dark place. And it was through watching YouTube channels that I was able to cope with what was going on in my life. And I'm glad that I get to be that for some people who get to watch my channel. All I've wanted to ever do is grow and develop those around me. So thank you for giving me the chance to do that for you. I have different screens in front of me trying to keep everything organized. So again, thank you. And we're going to be going into the comments next. And I have them all right in front of me, so I'll be reading them and showing them up on the screen. If I don't pronounce your name correctly, I'm sorry. I'm doing my best. I might try to abbreviate some of them to make it easier. Just bear with me. So, AO commented, "What happened to Tales of a Madman Seasons 1 and 2? So for those of you who don't know, I used to have a series on my channel. It was the first series that ever blew up. It was called Tales of a Madman. And during this time, my mental state was close to the lowest it had ever been. And in order to express the pain that I was feeling, I made a series called Tales of a Madman that followed a main character with voices inside of his head telling him that he was worthless, that he didn't matter, and kind of depicting the world as an unfair and cruel place. Now, I have since privated those videos. They're still on my channel, but they're privated, and nobody's going to be able to see them, as well as a lot of videos from back then. The main reason why I picked that series to private, one, the actual main reason, is because it doesn't reflect my current content. I would like to think my content is meant to be more uplifting, motivational, and hopefully educational in some ways. And although you could consider those videos arts, and maybe could help some people by allowing them to relate to an experience, I didn't think that it reflected my current content. And looking back on those videos brings back a lot of darker memories that I'd rather not re-experience by people commenting on the video and giving their feedback for it. So I decided just to scrap it and keep it privated, just like the majority of my videos from back then, because I have like old vlog videos that show me with like a full head of hair and, you know, a whole lot of different development throughout my years, but we don't need to see those anymore. It's fine. Maybe we'll do a milestone where I'll watch some of my old videos for the channel, but definitely not now. Next question from Levi Sparks. Any memorable middle school stories? Big fan. Watch your videos all the time. Think this is my first commenting on here. Keep up the good work. First of all, Levi, hi. Thank you for finally commenting on my channel. You should do that more often. I would appreciate it. I do respond to every comment as long as they're constructive, and I'd love to have more of a dialogue with you if possible. As far as middle school stories go, so my middle school years were among the worst in my life, although I'm pretty sure that's the same for most people. So for those of you who don't live in the United States, middle school follows 6th through 8th grade, which includes an age range between about 11 to 14, 11 being the lowest end, 14 being about the highest end. So during my middle school years, I had divorced parents. My birth father had moved to Texas, and I would fly out there approximately every other weekend. It kind of fluctuated depending. So one of my memorable experiences during that time was having to fly out by myself to where he lived and spend a weekend there and then come back, and trying to balance school and having a social life. And at the time I was part of like a youth group. As far as being actually in middle school, like as far as like a school setting goes, school dances, mainly dance battles. So I was pretty passionate about dancing back in middle school, and we would have around like the schools in the area would have dances once every few months. And I became so well known during those experiences because me and my buddy Andrew, who I used to run a YouTube channel with, would go to the very front of the speakers where everybody could see us, and we would just dance because we did not care what anybody thought. And incredibly great experience growing up, by the way. I loved it so much. And it's because of Andrew and he and I kind of feeding off each other and making each other feel more confident that we were able to do that. But because of this, I'd actually made kind of like a small name for myself doing that. So people would randomly come up to me during the dance and like ask to dance battle, and people would like form rings and we would dance, and there would be a winner, I guess. But that was probably the most memorable experience from my middle school times, and something that I'll probably cherish for the rest of my life, being honest. From Kaylin, do you have any tips for overcoming an internet addiction? Particularly since the majority of people's classes are online this semester, using the internet is a requirement to a large degree, and it becomes very easy to get distracted and sink hours into mindless scrolling. I've gotten better about it, but it is absolutely an addiction. So, how did you overcome your gaming addiction, and do you have any tips or suggestions? So, let's talk about the first question. Do you have any tips for overcoming an internet addiction? Well, unfortunately, my main way of stopping a habit is by quitting outright, cold turkey, because I don't personally have the self-control to wean off of something. That's why I don't do drugs and why I don't drink alcohol, because there is a high likelihood that it would be nearly impossible for me to just stop. So whenever I quit caffeine or whenever I quit video games, I just stop cold turkey. Now, unfortunately, with the internet nowadays, that's not really an option, especially if you're doing online schooling. A lot of your jobs require the internet, a lot of school requires internet. Even if you're not doing full online classes, a lot of classes do require you getting onto some kind of website for the school to submit coursework. It's kind of impossible to avoid. Now, there are browser extensions out there that will allow you to block certain websites for certain periods of time. I would recommend looking into those, because you can set them up in such a way that you can't reverse this action. For example, let's say that you set up this web browser to work between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. And during that period of time, it will block YouTube, Twitch, Quora, any website that you're normally distracted by. That extension will block it for you. Now, I don't have a name for it off the top of my head. You'd have to look it up. But that's one of my bigger suggestions. Now, if your phone is part of the issue, I recommend turning it off while you're working on your coursework, because the act of turning it back on will take a good amount of time, assuming that, you have like an older kind of phone. And you'll be able to reflect during that period of time of whether or not you actually want to spend and waste the time looking at the phone versus doing the coursework. Now, I don't think that you should do what some people do, where you just sit down and try to force yourself to do all the coursework in one go. You should try to spread it out over the days allotted to you in order to get it done. Now, unfortunately, if you're not the kind of person that can do that, I would recommend trying to sit down and get as much as done possible as quickly as possible, so you have less to stress about over time and you feel less guilty about procrastinating. How to overcome a gaming addiction? Mainly, how I mentioned earlier, cutting cold turkey, because I just don't have the self-control. And also another part of it was I had more important things to focus on. See, part of the reason why I quit gaming was because it was actively taking a toll on my relationship. Now, we weren't close to breaking up or anything, but she was definitely getting frustrated with the fact that I was spending more time playing video games than talking with her. And there were definitely times when I would choose gaming over her. Not to mention, I quit gaming around the same time that I started my hobby with photography, and photography has kind of replaced my gaming addiction, but it's a more constructive hobby. I'm getting to share those creations, and I feel as though I'm getting a more worthwhile experience filming and doing photography than I am clicking games and stuff. That was a really crappy answer. So that's what I have for you. I hope that kind of helps. So just to review, browser extensions are really helpful. Turning off your phone is really helpful. But at the end of the day, your motivation has to be somewhere. You have to actually have a clear goal at the end. Otherwise, you're just torturing yourself without any kind of goal. So if your goal is to get a certain GPA, or to finish coursework within a certain given time, or to just complete a degree, you need to have that goal in mind and keep that at the forefront of your thought whenever you're trying to approach the addiction. Also, thanks for sticking around, Kaylin. I really appreciate it. This is from Chainsy, also known as Liam, which, by the way, I was so happy to see you come back onto my channel. Yo, I've got 2 questions. One might be YouTube inappropriate. I'm not sure. If you could either speak every language perfectly or play every instrument without fault, which would you choose? And what's your favorite alcoholic drink? Or, if you're not a big drinker, what's your favorite drink in general? Bonus question, what's the weirdest drink you've ever had? So, as far as languages versus instruments, I'm going to pick languages 10 times out of 10. I believe that communication is one of the most important skills on the planet. And if I could talk to every single person on the planet at any given time, I would be able to have my reach cast way further out and touch and impact so many other lives. Now, don't get me wrong, I love music. I love the idea of being able to play every song. But a lot of people can play almost every instrument, given enough practice and time. Not a lot of people can speak every single language, so I think that'd be more of a worthwhile skill to have. As far as drinking goes, like I kind of mentioned earlier, I don't drink alcohol. There have been alcoholics in my bloodline, and I don't want to repeat that same pattern, and I get really uncomfortable with people who are drunk around me to the point where I just don't hang out with them. I also don't like watching like drunk streams or drunk YouTube videos. They just make me feel gross. I don't like it. So as far as favorite drink in general, I am a huge Coca-Cola fan, but unfortunately I'm not currently drinking caffeine. So right now, my main go-tos are Sprite and root beer, but of course I'm also an H2O for H2O. And as far as the weirdest drink I've ever had, whenever I would go on road trips, back when I was a younger kid, we would stop by Quick Trip that's the gas station for those of you who don't know, to get snacks and to get drinks, and I would get something, I'm not going to say what it was called because it's kind of inappropriate, but it's basically taking every single drink in a soda fountain, so there's like maybe 20 different drinks, mixing them all together and drinking that. Probably the weirdest thing, but as a kid, I really enjoyed it. Louis Smith says, congrats on your first 1,000 subs. Keep at it. Your content is great. And then also going off that is Pragmatic Addict is congrats on 1K. Proud of you, man. Thank you both. I know that wasn't really a question, but I do appreciate the positivity, so I wanted to feature that in the video. So I don't really know like what to say with your name. I'm just gonna say Dr. Zebra, man, because that's a long name. Also, I appreciate the fact that you're still sticking around the channel, and I'm also really enjoying the fact that you're continuing to create content. Just me, simping a little bit. Huge congrats on 1,000 subscribers. With 20 being my closest milestone, I can safely say it's no easy task. What are your favorite YouTube channels? Or the ones that have inspired you the most? I'm a big fan of Red and Leak and the Angry Video Game Nerd, and the channel that first got me into creating videos was a similar one called the Smash Doctor. How about you? So, as far as my favorite YouTube channels, the ones that I have been watching the most as of recently, oof. I'm gonna pause, give me a second, I need to pull this up because I didn't prepare very well enough for this at all. Okay, so as far as entertainment goes, I watched Dream, the Minecraft YouTuber, which by the way, he definitely did cheat in the speedrun, but that's besides the point. I watched the Grand Line Review, which is an anime specific to One Piece YouTube channel. I have watched, let's see here, Mr. Beast, of course. I'm not subscribed to Casey Neistat, but he was a big influence to me early on. Windover Productions is a pretty good channel. I like that a lot. Let's see here. Wowie. Potato Jet and Peter McKinnon are two photography channels that I really enjoy watching. New World Review, which is an anime specific mostly to Hunter x Hunter content. I love Mark Rober and Michael Reeves, but they don't really post a whole lot, so they don't have a whole lot of influence. I used to watch I Hate Everything, but he didn't really post on 2021. I watch a lot of Ludwig on YouTube, but I don't really watch any Twitch, but I think that Ludwig's pretty entertaining. And then I also watch a little bit of Disguised Toast and 5UP for their 5UP content, for their Among Us content. As far as the channels that had the most inspiration to me growing up, there was a YouTube channel called Cosdiff. I'm not sure if it's still around, but I really enjoyed his IRL content, and he also did some gaming content in the COD community. I was a big fan of, who the Smile More people? Oh crap, it's going to bother me if I don't know this. Roman Atwood is the name. Roman Atwood, Casey Neistat, Ant Venom, Captain Sparkles, and a few other Minecraft YouTubers had a huge impact of me early on, just helping keep me sane and then also inspiring me to create content. Those are probably the biggest ones, but as far as the one that actually inspired me to take YouTube more seriously was Christina Grimmie. And probably 99% of you don't know who this is. She was actually killed while she was performing at a concert. She was a musical YouTuber. And I had kind of recognized her from Kurt Hugo Schneider's videos to the music channel whenever they did Just a Dream cover. And I really enjoyed her music and videos. And when I found out that she had been shot and killed, I had made a video on my channel, which of course is privated, called You Matter. And I was talking about how fragile life is and how we really shouldn't take our moments for granted. And her death kind of inspired me to want to create more, because acknowledging the fact that my time is limited means that I only get so much time to get to make an impact. And she made huge impacts on the world while she was still alive. And I wanted to, as a tribute to her, try to do the same. So yeah, that's my answer to that. Oh man, I haven't cried yet, so I'm doing a good job. I don't know how to say your name, so I'm just going to say shush. I'm just going to hope that you're not offended by that. How has balding affected your dating life and relationships? I am 15 and experiencing some hair loss, and I'm scared it might get worse in the coming years. I feel like girls my age are a little more shallow than most women, and would never really date a bald guy at this age if they could easily get a guy with a full head of hair. Although I hear you have a girlfriend, so I wanted to know how you think baldness has affected your dating life, if it affected it at all. So the very short answer is it hasn't affected my dating life and relationships. And if anything, since I started shaving my head in 2017, I've had more relationships that have lasted longer, and not that it really matters, but I've been more sexually active. So here's the analogy that I give, okay? Let's say that you, Mr. Shush, are a mango, okay? And there are girls that are allergic to eating mangoes. It doesn't matter how juicy a mango you are, they are never going to want to have any part of you. Now, if a girl's favorite, it's a fruit, right? If a girl's favorite fruit is mangoes, okay, and you are a mango, she is going to want you. And the same thing applies to being bald. There are women who prefer men who are bald. It's just a fact. Now, and younger ages is probably less common because they haven't gotten the chance to explore that. But as you get older, it becomes more prominent. Also, something really important to note, not every single woman on the planet cares as much about your appearance as you think. More often than not, your personality and attitude are what determines whether or not you're going to be in a relationship with somebody. Now, if you're talking about one-night stands and like the shallow experiences that comes with, you'll probably be at a disadvantage. But as far as my personal life and experience, I'm not really into flings. I'm not really into those kind of experiences. I like having deeper relationships and connections. Therefore, my experience has not really been that impacted because the people who I want to experience living life with, I wouldn't want to date a person who cared about my appearance so much that would be a deal breaker to them. Now, of course, if I was like horribly disfigured with like burns and scars all over my body and face, that might be a different story. But when it comes to just balding, it's really not that big of a deal at the end of the day, at least in my opinion. So I hope that answered your question. Going back to Mr. Dr. Zebra. So we were having a conversation and it just kind of led to another question, so I'll skip down to it. What got you making videos, got you into making videos on a serious level? So we were talking about quality of how much you can put into your videos to make them better. So I was talking about gear. And I was talking about how I had gotten, my T7i in order to film really quality 1080p, how I just recently got my Canon G7X Mark II in order to have some more B-roll, to do some more behind-the-scenes footage and be able to have a camera that I can run and gun with because the DSLR is not that kind of camera. And what I ended up deciding the best answer would be is I take pride in creating quality content. And when I look at YouTubers who put a lot of money, time, and effort into making a video they can be proud of, that inspires me. Now, there's not a particular video that really wanted me to bring up to the DSLR level of quality. If I had to give an answer, Casey Neistat's probably the best person for the answer. So Casey would always shoot on the best camera he possibly had at the time that was most practical for his uses. In his case, he was using the Canon 80D for the longest time. It only shot 1080p, but it was a really crisp image. He used the same lens that I use today, which was complete coincidence, but still, it's pretty cool. And he would always just try to make the best content possible. Now, there are channels like Linus Tech Tips and MKHB who shoot in 4K and 8K for their channels. And I eventually want to get to that point because within the next few years, 4K will probably be the standard for YouTube. But for now, while phones are only displaying in 1080p quality or maybe even 1440p in some phones, 1080p is the standard for the moment because most people watch YouTube on their phones. So this is acceptable, which is why I got the Mark II. But I do plan on my next big camera body purchase being the Canon 90D that shoots 4K uncropped. That'll be my next big investment into this channel outside of getting better lenses, which that's a whole other process because those last a lot longer and they're more important to me. But yeah, that's the answer. Sorry, there's a little bit of a tangent there, but I'm known for doing tangents anyway, so that's fine. So going back to Chainsy, this is super well edited, love the style. Think you'd ever consider upping your frame rate? I think a well-framed 60 FPS vlog looks amazing. So just to give some context, I shoot in 24 frames per second for most of my videos. The main reason why, it looks more cinematic and it's more accurate to how your eye sees things naturally. That doesn't mean that I'm married to the idea of doing 24 frames per second all the time, but I do think it's a good stylistic choice. I believe right now I'm actually shooting in 60 frames per second. However, that's only because I forgot to change these settings for my last shoot that I did earlier 2 days ago. But normally I'll shoot 24 frames, and I actually have a reason for this. So in my room, I want to have a certain look. That certain look can be 24 frames per second. When I'm going out into the world, I can shoot in 30 or 60 frames per second, and you can immediately identify a difference in quality and appearance. I like the cinematic look of 24 frames per second, especially when I'm sitting down, not moving around a whole lot. I think that it looks better and more cinematic. I don't think I always have to do it. I'm not married to it, but that's just why I do it for most of my videos. I don't think there needs to be any other reason than that, though, personally. Danis asks, what are you doing your college degree in and where? Best wishes from the UK, Chris. So I unfortunately will not be able to tell you where. I'm willing to tell you that I live in the United States. I'm not willing to say the state or the college that I go to for privacy reasons. There are some people who follow my channel who would probably like to find me in real life, and I would just really rather not broadcast that to the world. As far as what I'm doing it in, I kind of flipped a lot on what kind of degree I wanted to get, and I was really stuck between doing business administration and business management. And what I ended up settling on was doing a bachelor's in business management The main reason why is because business admin is a really general degree that a lot of people apparently pick if they don't know what they want to do. And although I actually want to do business administration and management as a career path, whether it be running my own company or running somebody else's company, I don't want to have a general degree that has less flexibility in the job market than management would be. Because at the end of the day, if I'm ever deciding to run my own business, I will have to manage it as a CEO level person. So having management experience and management education will help me towards that goal. The coursework is relatively similar. The main difference being that bachelor's in management has more management level courses, whereas business admin has more like abstract concepts. So that's the main difference. That's why I picked management, and I haven't decided if I want to get like a minor in something yet, but I'm going to worry about that like a year from now. Chainsy, again, hi, a lot of comments. Thank you for coming back. Will you put this in the video? No, I don't think I will. J. Will asks, do you recognize your long-term subscribers? Yeah, to a certain extent. Now, there have been people that have commented and been following me for 2 or 3 years, but as of the past year or year and a half, they haven't really engaged as much, and I'm less likely to remember them. Now, there are people, like off the top of my head, RJ Carter, Ian, you, of course, J. Will, Chainsy, but mostly from Twitch. Crap, I'm gonna embarrass myself here. B-Man is one that's been around for quite a while. Kevin has been around for a while. You guys will know who you are if you're listening to this video. And there are a few others that I can't just remember off the top of my head, but yeah, I do remember them. If I see their names in the comment section, it'll click with me. And then oftentimes, if I feel like I remember somebody, I'll go into my comment search bar, I'll look up their name, and I'll see their comment history, so I'm able to see how often they've engaged. But yeah, I do remember a lot of them. And of course, I remember you. You've been around for quite a while now at this point. But I really do appreciate long-term subscribers. I want them to know that I do appreciate the fact that they've stuck around as long as they have, especially considering how inconsistent that I've been throughout the years on this channel. Angel says, tell me about your music taste. So my favorite band is Linkin Park. My favorite individual artist is John Bellion. My favorite phase that I've been through was probably the 21 Pilots phase. And alternative rock is probably the genre that I would have to subscribe to the most, but I really listen to almost everything. I'm not a huge fan of country, but there are some country songs that I do actually like. But as a genre, it's probably the one that I enjoy the least amount overall. But I will listen to like 90% of music and at least appreciate it for what it is. I just don't like mumble rap and most country. That concludes my responding to comments. I had 14 of them down listed. Those were just the ones that I had gotten over the past 3 or 4 days. There have been other people that have asked questions and commented, but they didn't follow the criteria that I had listed, so I wasn't able to include it, unfortunately. So now we have another segment. There are 3 people, well, actually I reached out to more than 3 people. I reached out to half a dozen people, but I had 3 people respond and reply back to this. There are some longtime subscribers that I reached out to, and I asked them a few questions and asked if I could share their stories about kind of how they found my channel or how it impacted them, and to kind of share that and let me share with you guys. I'll have all 3 of their links at the very top of my description. If you want to check out the YouTube channels, I'll also have a screenshot showing it as I featured their stuff, but I just want to let you guys know that that information is down there if you're interested in checking out their stuff. I'd recommend it. These are really cool people. So we're going to be starting with Chainsy. For just a little bit of backgrounds, Chainsy has known me probably longer than most people have subscribed to this channel, because I used to do Skyrim on Twitch on a semi-regular basis, and that's actually where Chainsy and I met. We kind of fell off, but they reached out recently. I'm gonna be using your name, Liam, for the sake of this video. I really hope you're don't mind me showing your Instagram here, but here it is. So I reached out to Liam and I said, you found me when I was really small, and you were actually kind of active in my streams. Not many people commented or interacted like you did, and it was a huge motivator for me early on. For my 1K special, I'm doing a huge Q&A, but I wanted to add a special feature for people who have been around for longer than most. He replied, I've actually been subscribed all this time. I guess it just shows how useless the YouTube box is. That never reminded me of you. So then I asked him, if you feel comfortable sharing, I'd love to share how you found me, in this case on Twitch, and what convinced you to follow me. I asked other people what my greatest impact on them was, since a lot of my content is self-help related, but I'm guessing you probably don't watch that kind of stuff from me. I also told him I would shout him out and whatever. And then he responds saying, I'm pretty sure I used to just surf the Skyrim category on Twitch, filter my English, and then toggle viewers from low to high so I'd find anyone small and try to find anyone interesting that way. I can't remember whether you had a face cam, yada, 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 and I didn't remember either. But he goes on to say, I recall really enjoying how you didn't really know much about the game. It was nice to see someone with such a fresh perspective on Skyrim, since I'd played hundreds of hours. I definitely couldn't care less how good someone is at the game. Whether I'm watching depends entirely on whether they're entertaining, which you definitely were. Specifically, though, I think it was the conversations we had. It felt quite natural. You get a lot of streamers that just answered questions with one-word responses, which you didn't do. And he just basically said that it was common sense for him to have subscribed at that point, not subscribed but followed, but whatever. And I really appreciate that, because when I was doing Twitch before my life just got busy, I really enjoyed the interaction that came with it. And it's one of my favorite things about doing YouTube as well, is the fact that people will comment on my videos and I get to reply to them. It's by far better than likes, better than subscribers, is the comments. It's what I live for this channel. It's why I keep making content. So what I really enjoyed and what really inspired me to continue doing Twitch as long as I did, which wasn't very long, but longer than I expected, was the fact that Chainsy was willing to do that for me and comment and interact. And I'm also like 95% sure he also made the banner that I had for my Twitch channel, which, if I'm right about that, thank you, and if I'm wrong about that, just ignore me. The next person we're going to be going on to is Brandon, also known as B-Man. So I reached out to him. I mentioned that I'd picked half a dozen people. I wanted to ask him a few questions. The main ones being, how did you find my channel? What made you decide to subscribe? And what was the most impactful video of mine that you watched? I told him I would shout him out, which obviously link in the description. Here's the image for that. Have fun with it. And I almost cried reading his response. So if I start sounding emotional, just ignore me. I found your channel upon searching up an issue I was facing. In fact, it's something a lot of your viewers deal with, young balding. So probably back in late 2018, I noticed my hairline was receding. It got me in a total panic. I thought I'd be unwanted and worthless without my hair. To cope, I looked for someone out there who dealt with what I had faced with. I found some really helpful YouTube videos, but yours really stuck out to me. Your young balding videos helped me tremendously at the time. All of those videos you made impacted me tremendously. Upon digging into your channel more, I was impressed to find so much more. As much as goofball as I can be, I love looking at the world critically and doing self-introspection. You seem like a guy that wasn't afraid to go against the norm, and your videos examine society in a mature and intelligent way. I've truly admired your work ethic and your carefully thought out life views. I've related to a majority of it. There were even some times where I learned, where I learned from your videos, gaining a new perspective on a topic and being all the better for it. I'm grateful for your channel, not only for your young balding videos, but for the YouTuber behind that camera. I can't remember all your videos, to be honest, because there were so many. There's been a range of topics that have impacted me. Videos discussing your work ethic give me someone to relate to and inspires me for sure. I know it's cliche, but I'd probably have to go with your young balding videos. Here you were, a guy pretty much my age, shaving your head and keeping confident. Those early videos discussing this flipped my views dramatically. While I still very much have my hair, I've come to terms that it may not be there forever. Even though it's not as full as it used to be, I acknowledge that looks are fleeting, and it's the personality inside that truly makes the man. It's funny, when I noticed this, I thought I'd be undesirable to women. I've dated since, and now I have a partner that loves me no matter what. She even told me she'd think, oh man, I really hate how I formatted this. Give me a second. She even told me she'd think I'm beautiful even if I lost my hair. I'm confident in my own skin, and those videos really helped out in those dark early days for me. And then he said to feel free to share how much I want to. And it's comments like that and people who reach out to me like that that make me feel like I'm making a difference and make me feel like I have a purpose. I struggled for the longest time. I'm not going to cry. I've struggled for the longest time with self-worth. I've dealt with a lot of depression, anxiety, and a slew of other issues. And for the longest time, I was trying to figure out what my place was in the world. I've gone through a lot of existential dread over the past few years, just trying to determine like what is the meaning and purpose to living. And when I get such a well thought out answer like that to how I might have impacted somebody's life, it reminds me that our actions can make a difference in the world, even if maybe they're relatively small in the scale of the universe. And it's just things like that that make me so happy to be able to get to do what I'm doing right now and be able to touch the lives of so many people that get to watch these videos. So Brandon, thank you a lot. Just as an aside, of course, what's actually funny about how you had found me was one of the main reasons why I shaved my head. And I really desperately wish that I knew the YouTuber that had been the turning point for me. But there was a guy, really small subscriber count, wasn't really making videos regularly. He just made this video out of nowhere, who talked about how the hardest part of accepting that you're balding is going through the first shave. And then once you get through that point, it gets easier. And I hadn't discussed with anybody what I was planning on doing. I just went to my local haircutting place and just told them to bring it down to level 2. It actually might have been a level 1. I don't remember. The first video on my channel actually shows the before and after. But I wanted to be that for other people. And it was a huge inspiration to me. And I'm really glad that I got to be that for you, because I think that it's really cool that we get to experience the butterfly effect in this way, where something makes a difference in my life, so I get to make a difference in somebody else's. And I'm hoping that people who watch this video end up feeling the drive to want to do the same thing for other people. We're going to go through I didn't cry. I did. I fucking did it. The last one we're going to be doing is Kevin. A little bit of a shorter one. He's been following me for quite a while now. We follow each other on Instagram. I have a lot of respect for him. He's an actor. He also has a YouTube channel, which I do have linked, and here's the image for that. So I reached out to him, and I basically just mentioned that how he went above and beyond in commenting, and I just wanted to know which video of mine was most impactful or interesting and why. And his response was, "Hello, Chris. That's great. I'm glad to hear that. Of course, count me in." His response was, "Well, I found you with the video, 19-year-old balding dealing with criticism," which is where most people found me. And that video was very encouraging for me. Then I watched your first video in which you shave your head for the first time and you document your reaction. Also a video I'm very proud of. Man, that video was a great opening. Very inspiring, because you walk the talk. As for your more recent videos, I'd say How Shaving Changed My Life was a very mature talk in which you have already been doing it for a while, and it shows how this whole experience has made you grow as a person. Delaying Gratification was a very interesting video as well, as I'm into stoicism and I applied that myself. I can relate to some of the things that you did, lol. There you go, man. Again, congratulations for reaching 1K, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you for being a positive inspiration for me in my self-acceptance journey. And Kevin, man, you're just as much of an inspiration to me as well. And the fact that you embrace so much of your life it's a huge inspiration to me too, man. I love your Instagram. I love your photos that you post, especially the newest ones with your headshots. If you guys want to see some really mature people who are like gracefully going through balding, you should look at Kevin. He has some great shots. I'd really recommend doing that on Instagram. And then of course he has a YouTube channel. He only has one video posted, but it's a kind of a short film, and I'd really recommend checking it out if you're interested, of course. And those are the 3 special people that I'd reached out. Now, there are other people that have been longtime subscribers that I either couldn't get a hold of or just didn't have the time to reach out to. If I didn't reach out to you, I am really sorry. I would encourage you to DM me on Instagram at sortacasual or on my Twitter at sortacasual. I'd be happy to feature you in a responding to comments video later on. You might not be part of the special, but I'd still love to have you be a part of and engage with the channel. I'm always happy to involve the community in my videos. So again, I'm sorry if you weren't included, but please understand that this was pretty short notice. I didn't expect to hit this milestone so quickly, and I wanted to get the video out earlier rather than later. I didn't want to delay it a whole lot. So now that we've gone through all of those emotional stories, we've gone through the comments, I've thanked all of you, I've introduced myself. Well, I'll be announcing the future for the channel and where I'm kind of planning on going from here. And unfortunately, I was not very prepared because for some reason I don't have this pulled up, so give me a second. I don't script my videos, but I just want to stay on track with this, so I want to make sure I had everything correct. So, as you guys may have noticed, today is January 18th as of the uploading of this video. I have uploaded now, as of this video, 18 days in a row, and I am intending on doing that for the entirety of 2021. I have quite a bit of content planned out. I actually have some stuff pre-recorded as well. I'm really enjoying the process, and I don't plan on slowing down unless something drastic happened, like a death in the family or injury or something major, and I would give you guys an update and I would try to make up for it somehow. But for now, I'm planning on just doing it daily, so we're going to keep up with that. If I hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of 2021, I have a deal for you guys. A lot of people have asked for this, and I've never wanted to do this. I've also have not cleared this with my girlfriend, but I severely doubt she'll be watching this entire video, so I'm hoping she doesn't know this. If I hit 2K within this year, I will razor shave my head. Now, I've never been excited about the thought of this. I don't have a particular interest in it, but I'm also not necessarily opposed to it either. I don't think that would look very good doing it, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. For a one-off, I'm okay doing it. I also don't think I'm going to double my subscribers in a year, so I'm not too worried about it. However, if you want to see that happen, share this video or share my channel with your friends, have them subscribe to me, reach out to other people, let them know about me. Those are the main ways you can do that. Other ways you can do that without being annoying, you could, to other people in your lives, of course, you could leave likes. You could comment on my YouTube videos. It helps the YouTube algorithm a lot. You can watch my videos all the way through. The retention rate's a big part of how my channel gets seen by other people. Those are the main ways that you can help out. Of course, you could do the door-to-door salesperson thing of like shouting me out on social media and such, which, by the way, if you do that and tag me and let me know, I will shout you out in my YouTube videos at some point, I'm sure, because that's probably a plan that I'll have, maybe. I don't know. I haven't really thought about this that much. As far as for the rest of the year, I have a few series that I'm planning on keeping up with. I'm still trying to kind of figure out the dynamic of how I want to run this channel, so bear with me as I'm figuring out the kinks. However, for the main ones, I've been running a series for the past 3 Sundays now called 60 Second Sunday, the series where I show you something in 60 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. Anyway, that series is going to be staying. It's a nice little refresh, reset moment for me every single week because trying to keep content going daily is kind of hard, and it's a really easy format of video that I can publish and upload and make my life easier because I work every Sunday no matter what, and it makes my life easier. Responding to comment series is going to stay strong. The more people that comment, the more often I'll do those kind of videos. I love featuring people from the community and answering questions for everybody to get to see, and as long as people keep commenting, I'll keep making those kind of videos. You may have noticed I made a few tech and camera videos. That will be continuing. It's my least performing content on the channel. I accept the fact that not everybody's here for it. You don't have to watch a video that I published if you don't want to see it. I totally understand. Just ignore it and wait for the next video that's actually interesting to you. I'm trying to figure out the best balance between motivational, young balding, tech gear, all that kind of stuff. So just bear with me while I work that out. And not to forget, I will be making young balding videos still, maybe not as frequently as some people would like, but it's really important you understand that I make videos that I'm passionate about. And it's really important also to understand that I don't like forcing content. So let me explain. I could make young balding videos 2 or 3 times a week. I could probably crap them out pretty easily, honestly. But the thing is, I'm not here to waste your time. I'm not here to pander or talk down to you either. There are channels that have balding as their central theme. And I'd like to think that a lot of the topics they talk about are very drawn out. These are the kind of people that publish 8 to 10 minute videos to get the most amount of ads, that fluff up their videos with words that don't matter, side tangents that don't matter, and they're not really providing the same amount of value for the amount of time they're spending on their videos. My goal, when I create content, is to get the message as clearly and quickly as possible while still being entertaining. And if that means that I can't hit a 10-minute mark for the YouTube algorithm, I accept that. That's not my goal here. The people who take the time to subscribe to my channel, I want to provide the most amount of value to you possible. So as a result, I won't be forcing videos that I'm not passionate about, because although some people may enjoy that and might grow my channel faster, the people who are on my channel that know me well enough will know that I'm not as passionate about it and they won't be as interested. And I care more about the people that subscribe currently than the people that will in future subscribe to my channel. That being said, if you have a suggestion, a recommendation, or request for any type of content or any one-off video, comment in any of my videos requesting it, DM me on Instagram or Twitter at sortacasual. If I don't respond, don't take it personally. I am pretty busy, but I do read every single comment on my social medias, and I respond to every comment on my YouTube. And if it's a good idea, I'd be happy to do it, and I'm very likely to give you credit for it as well, as long as I haven't already decided to do that kind of video or I've already recorded or whatever. But majority of the time, I'll probably just give credit, honestly. But I would appreciate those recommendations. I'm not running out of ideas, but I would like to include the community more in my videos, and I might try to mention that more often in my videos. But yeah. Is that it for everything? Did I get it all? Oh, no, conclusion. Okay, yeah, I guess I should probably conclude this video somehow. Just to circle back, thank you. Seriously, I really appreciate the fact that you guys have decided to stick around as long as you have through the ups and downs. My life has been like a roller coaster ride of emotions. And I'm sure during this year, I'm going to be hitting a low point at some point. It's just kind of how it works. But it's because of people who decide to subscribe, like my videos, comment, engage, and enjoy what I have to make, that makes me feel passionate and want to continue to make content for you. So I hope that I make the content that you guys enjoy and appreciate. And I hope that we can continue this relationship of transparency and honesty as I hopefully continue to grow. And just make sure, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like. If you want to see more, man, that subscribe button is right down there. Tell your friends about me, or don't. I don't want you to be annoying to them if you think you will be. And do not forget to keep it casual. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it.